subscribe to me on YouTube. Of course, this isn't the actual Undertaker. His name seems to be Mike. Mike the Undertaker. This makes him the third Mike to be a major fan on my channel. The first one was Machete Mike, my original super fan. And then, of course, Mike Face 1 most recently, and then now Mike the Undertaker. And I am very happy to welcome him aboard. And he made a request of me to speak more to the effect of Andre Toulon from the Puppet Master series. And we will be doing that today. Join me on Figuring Out Our Favorite Monsters, episode 27. Now, I wrote to Mike the Undertaker with a series of personal messages discussing this subject of Toulon coming back evil. And, my conclusion is that the Decapitron puppet can summon forth the man that he actually was, whereas trying to rebirth him in the flesh with his rotting corpse will kind of make him come back evil, like in Pet Sematary. Now, today, I also thought of another thing as something that you kind of see in the Puppet Master 2 movie. We see Andre Toulon. We see Andre Toulon starting off actually kind of good, but he's under a bad situation whereby he's back in the flesh, but his fluid has run out because his puppets have, irresponsibly poured out that entire jug onto his grave, and so he needs more, and they need more, and he eventually needs more. The frustration of living inside this rotting body and also still needing that brain fluid, it might also be something that drives him over the edge and turns him bad. But regardless of that fact, the Decapitron puppet is made of materials that were taken from Toulon before he turned evil, like we see in the Puppet Master 2. So it can summon him. It can actually summon forth his spirit in a way. It's kind of like a machine that communicates with the other world in a way, kind of like something that Thomas Edison would have wanted to work on if he had ever been able to create that sort of thing. That's what Edison was working on right before he died, a machine that could talk to the dead. Rather than lowering his intelligence like the other puppets, you can actually talk to Toulon like an actual person when he shows up on that little blank face and starts talking to you. So it's the Decapitron puppet is a very advanced puppet, and that's the situation. But bringing him back in the flesh, and making him deal with the rotting corpse. Number one, you don't know if it's actually him in there. It might be one of those little demons, for all you know, the ones that fight the puppets in part 4 and 5. And furthermore, if it is him, he's not feeling very comfortable in that body, and there's tensions and corruptions that kind of that kind of get to him and make him a completely different person than what he normally would have been. Imagine living with a brain that was deteriorating, or a body that doesn't work. A lot of things. You might have a relative who started off one of the friendliest people in the world, and then they get some kind of tumor that makes them crazy. The guy who shot up a bunch of people over in Texas back in the late 60s, he was a Marine who turned out to have a brain tumor. Now, of course, he was knowledgeable enough about himself that he actually requested his brain to be analyzed after he was killed. So if he knew enough to know that something was wrong, he shouldn't have climbed up a tower and started shooting people. But anyway, but there was something wrong with him, and there is often a lot of things wrong with people who kind of turn bad sometimes. But some people just do it out of their own free will at the same time. So, but definitely in Puppet Master 2, we're dealing with an individual that is not himself. because Toulon is a friendly, kind, caring, intelligent fellow. And of course, there's three actors who played Toulon, and the one I enjoyed the most would have to be the first one that I ever saw, and that'd be Icky Hickey, as Joe Bob Briggs calls him. William Hickey played Toulon in the first film, and I liked that one the most because it wasn't one that talked a lot. It wasn't one that did this and that, but it was we just saw him, and you know it looked like a man who just cared for these little puppets. It didn't look like someone who was particularly bright or had a lot of stuff going in the works. It was just sort of he was just more of a father figure, and that's why I liked what I liked about William Hickey's Toulon. And of course, the other Toulons are really cool as well, but like I said, the Hickey Toulon connected the most with me because it just seemed like someone who just enjoyed creating those puppets and continuing their lives and protecting them and seeking after them, and he's also willing to sacrifice himself for their own protection and to make sure that his technology was not used for evil.